There was a very, very compelling close encounter, like a mass sighting that happened in 1997 in March in Arizona. And it's commonly referred to as the Pheonix Lights. If you talk to witnesses, they say, don't call it the Pheonix Lights, call it the massive, UFO flyover, because the object was not lights. It was a massive boomerang shaped object that was from 1 to 2 miles across.
And that's something that you wanted to include in that film?
Well, I investigated the case and I did include it in the film, but in I think it was like June. The sighting happened on March 13th, 1997. And then I think it was June, there was mounting pressure from the people, from witnesses. It got like a national story. And the governor of Arizona, the then governor of Arizona, Fife Symington, was like, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to find out what it was. I'm contacting the local Luke Air Force Base and the Pentagon, blah, blah, blah.
Isn't that the guy? Is that the guy who like walked out of the press conference dressed like an alien or something?
So a couple of hours later, he has one of his aides, and I was investigating this case when this was all going down. I was into production on, it's either 50 years or Out of the Blue, probably Out of the Blue. But in any case, I was in deep investigating this case, and that little so Fife Symington, the governor, then governor, was like, we're going to get to the bottom of it, and he was serious, like he really was. You can look at the press conference; it's in Out of the Blue, and a couple hours later, he has this unscheduled press conference, and he has one of his aides dressed up in an alien suit and makes a joke out of the whole thing. And I'll tell you, man, all the witnesses that I were talking to, they were pissed. They were like, I put you in office, we're your constituents. How dare you make fun of us like that? What's wrong? And it was this object was witnessed by a lot of people because everybody was out under the night sky trying to get a glimpse of the Hale-Bopp comet at the time. So, and this object flew from the north all the way across to the south of the entire state of Arizona. It's a fascinating case. Anyway, my goal was to get Fife Symington on camera and find out, why the hell he did what he did.
Right.
So, and this all takes many, years to do all this stuff. And so, to my complete astonishment or shock, I got 9 out of the 10 objectives done for that film, including an interview with Governor Fife Symington. He was no longer governor at the time, but I got an interview with the governor, Fife. Nobody ever got an interview with Fife, right? So I'm driving down. I'll never forget it. I had one of my partners, and he's like, well, what's Fife going to say? I said, who cares what he's going to say? We got the former governor of Arizona willing to meet with us, So on the way down to meet with him in Santa Barbara, he was like, well, I have a house in Arizona, but I also live in Santa Barbara. If you want to come down and meet me in Santa Barbara, say, yeah, that'll be a little easier for me. So sure, I'll meet with you. So on the way down to meet with the former governor of Arizona, Fife Symington, I pulled the car over the side of the road, got out my pocket tape recorder, and I contacted one of the witnesses, this woman, Stacy Rhodes, who literally was driving on Interstate 10 with her daughter, Emily, and they got out of their car, and they said all the cars stopped on both sides, and it was like maybe 7 o'clock in the evening, 6:30, 7, something like this. And she said that every car on Interstate 10 between Phoenix and Tucson were stopped, and they got out of their car, and this massive boomerang shaped thing like this, like a big chevron, floating like a city, super slowly. We were just sitting there, just looking at it as it floated right over, huge, like a mile. She goes, if I held up an opened up newspaper like this directly over my head, I could not have blocked out this craft. That's how big it was. Okay. And a lot of people saw it. I mean, I interviewed people all across the state of Arizona that saw this thing. So in any case, I pull over. I was like, you're not going to believe. And she was furious at the stunt that the governor had pulled. So I was like, you're not going to believe who I'm going to go meet with right now. She's like, who? Take a guess. She couldn't. I said, Governor Fife Symington. Is there anything you'd like to say to him? She's like, you're damn right I would. Like I said, well, hold on. Let me get my tape recorder out. And so I pressed record and I recorded her statement, and it was directed directly at the governor. And who better to ask a question than a former constituent of his and witness to the event? So I get into the interview, and I thought, well, I'm not going to spring this on him right away because I'm worried this guy's going to just, get up and walk out. So let me get what I can get out of him. And then when the time is right, I'll put the squeeze on him and I'll do a little bit of an ambush with this, So the interview was going great. He was like, he talked about the reason why he pulled the stunt, that he was just trying to find some, trying to calm the people down. A little bit of levity is the word he used. Didn't mean to make fun of anybody, this kind of thing. So then I said, hey, Governor, I've got a little something I'd like to share with you. It's one of your former constituents and a witness to the event, and she'd like to ask you a question if you don't mind. And he's kind of squirmed in his seat a little bit. And, he's like, oh, it's been a while since I've been kind of, ambushed or whatever. So I press play and she kind of lays into him pretty heavily. Like, how dare you, make fun of all the witnesses? There were thousands of us. It was a serious event. And we voted you in office and you just left us out to dry. And the one representative, Frances Barwood, who's city councilwoman, you made fun of her when she was just trying to make serious inquiries into the whole thing. And he sat there for a moment and I thought, well, I probably blew it. He's probably going to get up and leave. To my amazement, he admits right there that for the first time ever that he too, as a former Air Force pilot, that he too saw this thing and he knew immediately it was not of this earth. And he said that because of the sheer size of it, because it was so big, this big V-shaped thing.
Mm-hmm.
He said there's just nothing terrestrial that could be that big and fly that quietly and all this stuff. And so I knew the story was going to be big, but I didn't realize how big. And that story came out as I wasn't even done yet with the revision of Out of the Blue, and we were just catapulted all over the headlines. I was on Larry King 7, 8, 9 times. I was on every talk show, Nightline, Dateline, you name it, right? Which is great. I mean, you get in the spotlight a little bit and you can make some moves. You got a little
Right.
influence,
Right.
People are watching you suddenly. And I'm probably definitely boring you guys to death now.
No,
Okay.
not at all. Are you kidding
Well,
me?
I'll keep going here. So anyway, because I'm just on this ride, right? I don't really know where I'm going. I don't know where this is leading. I'm just a curious Joe. I'm just a guy that really wanted to know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And so I was just asking a lot of questions, and every now and again I got some traction. Now I'm in the limelight, and I'm on Larry King with the former governor of Arizona. We were on together, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And I'm on all these shows. I mean, I had my phone memory was full. I mean, everybody was calling me. Jay Leno, you name it.